for the next episode. Can't wait to get home and turn my TV on. I'm ready for the next episode. Got my snap shoes off, no remote control. I'm ready for the next episode.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Next Episode with your host, Nick.
And Jess.
And today we're discussing the Netflix show Billionaire Bunker.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Jess. So I bought you this show and I gave you no context, no information. I just said, hey, I think we should review this show. What did you think the show was about?
I was expecting an MTV Crib style tours of billionaires in their bunkers. And you know I would have been into that. So that's what I was expecting. I was not expecting the scripted television show where a maniacal team has kidnapped billionaires, but I'm here for it.
So, first of all, I would like to say I love this show. I think that it's different. I think that it's entertaining. This show is actually an international show, so it's a Spanish show that takes place in Spain. But it's very, very enjoyable.
It is very, very enjoyable.
Now, with that being said, I personally feel like this show is propaganda.
Yes, you said that. You think it's trying to get us to feel sorry for the billionaires.
I do. I feel like they are trying to create a situation where we should view the billionaires as victims. And I feel like if they wanted us to do that, they should have done a better job of creating sympathetic characters. I feel like these billionaires are a little too true to life.
Girl, they are so true to life. I was watching it like, yeah, no, this is how billionaires act. This is, and I don't feel anything for them either. I think maybe the daughter dying it's supposed to humanize them and make us sympathize with them maybe a little bit. But even that didn't do it just because of how they handle it.
It's very interesting. So I want to set the scenes and kind of break down like the billionaire characters and why, even though technically they are kidnapped victims who are being robbed, they're not worthy of sympathy. So I'm going to start at like the top, like the oldest main billionaire character. So her name is Frida.
Oh, the mother or the grandmother?
Okay, the grandmother. Is her name
Victoria?
Okay, so her name is Victoria. Her name is Victoria, and she is like in her 70s, and she's like a captain of industry. Now, while her being like 70 years old and a captain of industry is like remarkable because she's a woman in business, and so you know it wasn't easy for her to get there. This woman is heartless and cruel. She has one daughter who she treats like utter trash. And whenever her daughter comes to her and is like, I didn't feel like you loved me. I didn't feel like you felt like I was worthy or like I was appreciated. Her mom was like, and?
Just like, get over yourself.
And the daughter was like, you would even do things like sleep because the mom is a lesbian, is very very, very proud. And she's like, you would even sleep with my friends who were much younger than you and it would cause awkwardness. And she's like, why do you care about who I sleep with? Like, mind your business. I'm living my life. It has nothing to do with you.
Care about nobody.
It is like they don't even seem like friends, let alone mother-daughter. There's a particular cruelty that Victoria has, which is interesting because she's also in like a fighting cancer. And based on the amount of morphine patches that she has access to, I don't think it's going well.
I mean, but she looks good. She doesn't look like she's fighting cancer.
Actually, I love, like, for an older woman, like, she has a nice style and she does look good. But, like, you would think that, okay, she's older, she's fighting cancer. This would be the time that she would be trying to mend fences. No, she's like Party
She's
time.
the epitome of no regrets. That woman don't regret a thing she's ever done in her life. She don't care about how she treated her daughter. She does not care about who she slept with, how she slept with them, the context of which, because she likes to she likes to court straight women or women who are in a relationship and steal them. Something has to be scandalous about the way she pursues them, because I think she likes to chase, and she likes a difficult chase.
Absolutely. She's a hunter. She is. She's a hunter, and she's a party
She does
girl.
not feel bad. No.
And she has, but she has no love in her heart, which, there's like the ice cold, like, businessman trope,
Hmm.
and she is fulfilling it completely. She's just doing it as a woman, which is interesting and different, but also, if I would go no contact with her if I was her daughter.
But they're the same person.
They are. We're going to get to her. So
Okay.
that's Victoria. So initially, when you kind of like see Victoria's relationship with her daughter Frida, you feel a little bit bad for Frida. You're like, oh man, like, you were raised essentially by a wolf. And she talks about how the reason why she married her husband was because he was like the first person to be like genuine and nice, and she had never really had love before. And her mom was like, well, he's a loser. Of course he loves you. So, like, initially, like, you kind of feel bad. Like, you feel bad for Frida until she keeps
Hmm.
talking.
Hmm.
And you come to understand that I also don't think Frida loves anybody but herself.
Yeah, agree.
And she has a son and a husband. And so what you also find out is that, so her husband, Frida and Rafa, who are married, have been together since high school. So we're talking about around 30 years. She has been cheating on him the entire time.
Okay.
At the very least, she's been cheating on him with her quote unquote, his quote unquote best friend. But I honestly think that there have been other men that she's also slept
Oh.
with. Like, it's kind of implied. And
Uh-huh.
so she decides that being locked in this bunker is the
Hmm.
time for her to blow up her marriage and leave her husband. And I think part of that reason is because, like, her secret real true love is also locked in the bunker.
Hmm.
And so I'm gonna pause in the character breakdown so I can fully set the scene. Okay.
Okay.
So we have a company who has convinced these billionaires that natural disasters, nuclear war, all of these things are imminent, and they need to invest in this company, which is going to create an underground bunker that can hold about 45 families. And so these billionaires, they've all invested, like, $50 million probably a piece. Like, they've made substantial investments in this bunker. What they don't know is that this company is run by Minerva, who has decided that the only way that she can get ahead in this world is to rob money from these billionaires because they have more than they should. So
Hmm.
Minerva has convinced these people to invest. They've invested. She's built this underground bunker, and she reaches out to the billionaires and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's being kept on the low, but there's disaster due any minute." And so the protocol that she has set in place is that the billionaires, in order to get into the bunker, they all have to create messages, letters, things on social media, essentially saying, I need to reset, I need a break, I'm going on a trip, I'm going to be away for a while, you won't be able to reach me, so that people are not looking for them. It's very genius, I will say. It's very genius. And all of these people do this, and they all get into this bunker. Now, this is step one of billionaires are trash, because they're sending these messages out to the people who would be looking for them if they're missing, meaning the people who love and care for them the most. And they think that they've got a tip that the world is ending or something so catastrophic is happening, but they don't tip anybody else off. Even if they can't come to the bunker, you could still say, hey, try to find someplace safe. Try to, they're not saying anything. They are more than comfortable quietly slipping away. Now, Minerva has invested a lot of time and money in creating like this false reality. So nothing is actually wrong. Everything is normal, but she's gotten these people into this bunker so that she has the ability to rob them. I love that for her.
I do too. The plan is genius.
Yes, and she has the help
And
of her
so,
brother. Minerva is a genius, and her brother is a genius.
uh-huh.
So Minerva is like a what do you call like a
Engineer.
like engineer, like yeah, constructional engineer. Her brother is more like a computer genius, and they've come together and they've like created like this group of at this point they're criminals now. And so like they've got like a movie director who's creating like the visual effects. They've got actors, they have a doctor, like they have a group of people who are experts in their field. They have something I had never heard of, and I'm going to probably mess it up. Physiologist,
Girl,
physio, physiologist.
girl, when she said, I have no idea. Like, I'm basically a human lie detector.
Right. And my thing was, I should Google this because what if she's lying? Bro. So Minerva's like ragtag group of subject matter experts have like created like they've done a good job.
Ragtag. They all like pretty good in their field.
They are like
You know what I mean?
she's put together like a group, an
Like
Ocean's
actual genius.
11 group
Mm-hmm.
of like
Because can I say, some of my favorite scenes are the director describing how he and why he make the choices he did for the movies to fool them into thinking the world was ending. Those are some of my favorite scenes.
he's very passionate about what he's doing. And you would think that he wouldn't take it as serious as he does but he is so serious. Like he is putting so much detail, so much thought, and it's good. Like if we're being honest, it's very believable.
But that's why it's good is because he's so detailed and he's like not just like the visuals, but also the emotions he's trying to produce in them from the visuals to everything.
I mean, they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. Now, is Minerva crazy? She is. But you know, they say the line between crazy and genius is very thin. She's definitely hopping back and forth over that line. I'm still rooting for her, though.
Too.
I'm still rooting
I
for
want
her.
her to win. I
So,
want her to win. I'm on the wrong side, I think, with what I'm supposed to be for the show, but I'm definitely on there rooting for Minerva.
yes. Well, here's the thing. The Hunger Games taught me how to spot propaganda and fight against it. Okay. So I'm like I'm like this show is propaganda. I'm sorry, you're not going to make me feel bad for billionaires. So so to go back to the billionaires and why I don't think that they're worthy of being victims. Frida decides to blow up her marriage and she is living her life in this bunker, okay?
That's life.
She is hot girl walking all over this bunker. She's like, and the funny thing is that you find out later that she's in love with the one of the fellow billionaires, Guillermo. But she's also like Guillermo is married, his wife is there, and she's pretending to be his wife's friend and throwing salt in their relationship. And
Hmm.
her mother is helping her.
Yeah, because the mother wants Guillermo's wife.
Yes,
It's like yes, her and the mother have tag teamed to destroy this marriage because they each want a person in this marriage.
they don't even like each other,
That's
but
how
they
they
are
bond.
working together.
That's the most that they have seemed like mother and daughter. That's when they start getting along. They were like, you know what? I want this one, you want that one. Let's figure this out.
Right. So Guillermo is a terrible person. And let me list the reasons why. Guillermo, the woman he's currently married to, was his long term mistress.
Hmm.
And then when his wife committed suicide, he decides to marry his long term mistress and essentially tell her, now that we're married, it's boring. And I miss you being my mistress. That was his mistress, but he's also been sleeping with Frida for 30 years. And that's like his best friend, her husband is also supposed to be one of his best friends. Like,
Hmm.
and he's been sleeping with her.
Yes.
He also is like a huge mean bully.
Hmm.
And he feels like everyone works for him. He emotionally manipulates Rafa.
Hmm.
So funny. So when Frida leaves Rafa, her husband, Guillermo is pushing Rafa to find another woman to sleep with in the bunker, to just leave her alone. And Rafa's like, I love her. I want to figure out how to make it work. And then you find out Guillermo is sleeping with Frida. So I'm like, is he trying to keep them broken apart because he like
No,
sleeping with Frida because he doesn't really want to be with Frida?
no, he doesn't. And honestly, in that section, I felt like I agree with him. I also was trying to, from the couch, coach Rafa to sleep with somebody else. Like, Rafa, I'm sorry. You first of all, you're getting obsessive with this woman who's told you she don't want you. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I do feel like Rafa needs to move on from Frida. Frida ain't never gonna be what he's made up in his mind that she is. So I don't think, because he does not want to be with Frida on the surface. He likes having a mistress. Guillermo likes having a mistress.
Right.
That's fun for him. He never likes the actual wife.
Right.
Even if she started out to make sure he never like, so he no, and I think he wants him and Frida to be together. Or like, well, while they were together, he wanted to be together. Now that Frida blew everything up, I think he genuinely wants Rafa to move on.
Do you think it's because he cares about Rafa as a friend or because he just likes chaos?
I think as much as he can care, he does for Rafa. I mean, none of these people are particularly like, good people or have like a lot of ability for emotions for other people. So I think as much as he can care for another human, he does care for Rafa. And so he's like, sir, you need to move on. This is a lost cause. Move on with your life. I don't think that has, because I think regardless of whether or not he stayed with Frida, he was going to still sleep with Frida.
So Rafa, who once again, I think that they are trying to paint as a nice character, as a sympathetic character. Like, I do think that Rafa has love for his wife, but I know that and you don't believe that. You think that
No.
she's a possession.
Hmm.
So let me cook for a second. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things as you're watching the show, like you see that Frida and Guillermo have like this dominant and sub relationship. And at one point, like Frida is the sub and Guillermo's kind of the dominant. I think she also has that relationship with her husband. And I think in that relationship, she's the dominant and he's the sub.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm like, I think that he really does love her. And I think I think he feels like the way she's treating him is okay. It's like a humiliation thing. And if he could just be a good sub, she'll come back to him. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, Rafa is also still a terrible person.
Hmm.
So I feel like Rafa's a terrible person because of how he dealt with the situation with his son. So he saw his son drinking heavily one night, getting in the car with his girlfriend. And even though he tells him, hey, you shouldn't drive drunk, he doesn't take the keys.
He does.
He did take the keys?
He did take the keys. Max fought him and got the keys back. He did take the keys.
Why didn't he call the police? He didn't call the police. He didn't so Max is drinking. He ends up getting into an accident and he kills his girlfriend in the accident. He calls his dad. His dad's like, go, run away, go to the woods. Don't let the police, find you. And then he pretends like that did not happen. And when everybody finds out what happened and what Max did, like he completely turns on him,
Hmm.
testifies against him in court because Guillermo is basically like, if you're going to be my friend, you need to testify against your son. And Rafa's like, okay, okay. Like, that's your son, first of all. And second of all, you bear some responsibility because you could have prevented that accident. Now, he does not bear more responsibility than Max. It's absolutely on Max. But he could have done more than what he did.
He could have, because like I'm like, there's a lot of like he did fight him for the keys, and like in their tussle, drops them, and that's how Mac gets them back and gets in the car anyway. But I still do think that he could have like even in that protested more, locked the garage. You know what I mean? Like they're essentially like 18, 19. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like it's more that he could have done to stop them from driving, but he did try to stop them from driving. And then he turns on his son, which we find out later in the show, because Guillermo basically said, hey, if you don't testify against your own son, I'm gonna put a hit out on him. But then
Because
in
they're all
explaining,
billionaires. You could put a hit
yeah,
out on Guillermo.
but like here's the thing. Then he says to Max, Max has no parents. Max has no parents. Okay. Then he says to his son Max, I don't know if it was like, I don't know if you've ever had a real friend, but if your friend is asking you to do something, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, I don't know if it was out of trying to save you from being killed or out of my friendship to Guillermo. Excuse me? Both of his parents choose Guillermo over him. That's why I say Max ain't got no parents.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's also a terrible person.
Right. And so I'm like, it's funny, like they try to create sympathies in these people, but here's the thing, regular people also have hard lives. Regular people also have issues with their parents. Regular people also have issues with the law. And it's tough being a parent no matter how much money you have. I can feel bad for these people who don't use their resources for good.
Even being decent.
That's
You know what
true.
I mean?
Even neutral.
Like you right, like you just be decent? Because I'm like, you also like again, you're billionaires. Why didn't you immediately call 911 when you saw that? Or a helicopter got that girl life flighted somewhere. I don't know that Annie had to die. You know what I
Private
mean?
security. Like, you don't, like,
There's
come
so
on.
many things you could have done, but you could immediately go into let me fix this mode and try to hide and conceal like billionaires do, instead of like trying to make sure that this child lived.
Right.
You know? Like there's so much he could do. I do feel like he could have did more. I'm like, you ain't got no security at the house that could have stopped Max. Cause I get, Max is 19 years old and you not. So like a fight, yeah, you may not win with him. But like, I don't know, yeah. Shut the garage, lock them in the house. I don't care what you had to do. Cause it was not just that he was drinking and it was profusely raining. You know what I mean? So it was the combo that really messed them up. And like, where the hell y'all going? It's night. You know what I mean? And you both you in a mansion. Whatever you was about to go do, you could do in this mansion. Ain't nobody stopping y'all
Exactly.
from doing nothing.
Okay, so Max is considered the main character, and I think they want him to be the hero of the story.
Also not the hero.
Max is a
Minerva is the
murderer.
hero. Max is a murderer. And the way that they handled that, like I do feel like they want us to feel sympathy for Max because Annie was the love of his life. They had one of these kind of crazy wild loves from teenagers, and they were so good for each other. But essentially, you got in the car for absolutely no reason. There's no reason you had to drive that night. I don't care what you. There's no reason you had to go, and you killed her, and then you didn't call 911 either. You didn't try to get her any help either. You know what I mean? And you took off and tried to save yourself. And then in prison, he gets beat up a lot because they know that he has money. And again, I think this is supposed to make us feel bad for him, but then he becomes something different once he kind of like learns how to defend himself. But what really pissed me off, outside of all of that, what really kind of is like when they all get to the bunker, and this is the first time people have seen Max in 3 years because he's been in prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he expects people just to accept him knowing he'd have killed their family member.
Yes.
That's when I was like, you are also horrible. Because, like, if you can't understand that her little sister is still angry with you, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't understand that her little sister is going to have some feelings, you're like, why can't we just all get along? Why can't we just get over this? It's, oh my God, she's been dead for 3 whole years. You know what I mean? That's kind of the attitude that he came in with me. Like, you still on that? That was 3 years ago. I killed your sister 3 years ago. You still on that? That's how he acted to me. And that's what I was like, bump Max too.
Well, this show is like, oh, Max went to prison and he spent 3 years fighting and he's gotten so strong and now he's such a fighter. And I'm just like, guys, him going to prison was not character development. It did not turn him into like this superhero. He's a murderer. He killed that girl
Who got better at being a murderer in prison.
because
Because now he can
there's no I understand and I do feel like he did love Annie. I don't feel like he has remorse for her for what he did.
either.
And
He
he
doesn't have
comes
any.
out like when he gets out of prison, like his dad, because he's a billionaire, pulled strings. Max was supposed to serve like life in prison. His dad pulled strings to get him out after 3 years because once again he thinks that the world is ending. Max is not grateful at all. One, that
Not.
his dad got
No.
him out of prison. Two, that his dad is trying to protect him from this what they think is like a natural disaster, nuclear war. He's still mad that his dad testified against him, which I can understand you being irritated, but if you had spent those 3 years understanding that you did wrong and you murdered the woman you allegedly said that you loved, you would come out with some sort of remorse. He has the biggest chip on his shoulder. He is so aggressive. He is so angry. He is so violent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because you feel like you should not have went to prison for murder.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why it's very easy for him to say, why aren't we all putting this in the past? Because you have no remorse for what you did and what you took away from them.
As horrible as Guillermo is, like as horrible as Guillermo is, I still think it's a lot to ask him to sit at the dinner table with the man that murdered his daughter. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, and I feel like any other human being, like, if you had gotten in that same situation, who like, because like yes, he is the reason why she's dead, but he wasn't trying to kill her. He was in a beer. But any other normal human being would have stayed out of his way because they would have understood that he's still going to be mad, angry with you because you took his daughter.
Not to mention, at that point in the story, Guillermo also believes that his wife committed suicide because of the death of his daughter. So
Yes.
he not
Oh,
only lost his daughter, he lost his wife, and it's in direct connection to what Max did. And Max is like, "Oh, you still on
that's what pissed me off with Max. It's his attitude. He's like, yeah, for everybody, y'all still on that? Let me go get you a pudding cup. That'll make it better.
Yes, and the okay. I'm going to talk about the last billionaire that I hate. And I hate them all. I'm going to talk about the last one that I hate, and then I'm going to talk about the billionaires and how they treat the staff.
Mhm.
Okay. So, once again, another character who I think that they're trying to use. Well, I guess there's two. I'm not going to count Mimi. Like, Mimi is not technically a billionaire, and she's really very much a
Very much a billionaire's
plaything.
wife.
Yes,
Mhm.
Mimi is married to Guillermo. She is an ex-model. She really doesn't have money. She really doesn't have power. She's essentially, even though she's technically in the billionaire group, she really isn't a billionaire. She's a plaything. So so like the things that happen to Mimi, it is genuinely sad, and they come as a direct result of the things that Minerva does. Minerva is not innocent. I'm just on her side, and I can say that. So the last billionaire, who is supposed to essentially, we're supposed to think of her as a good person, and we're supposed to feel bad about how she's being treated, is Asia. So Asia is Guillermo's daughter, and so her sister is Annie, and her sister's died. She was like a medical student before, you know, they get into the bunker. And so now, true, Asia is the only one who said, of the billionaires, who said, we're in this bunker and we are safe, and everybody else is out there dying. Like, don't y'all care about that? Like, how are y'all okay with it? But you still
Mhm.
didn't tell anybody before you got in this bunker.
No, you didn't. I will say she is the most sympathetic of all of them, but she still is not, where I think we're supposed to feel about her.
Let me tell you something, okay? Like, yes, she felt like that. Yes, she's a medical student and while she's in the bunker, she's trying to help people. Okay. But the way that she talks about Max, who murdered her sister, she sounds like an anime character, and it pisses me off because she's like, oh my God, what are these feelings deep inside? Could it be true? Have I always loved Max? Have I always secretly been in love with my sister's boyfriend? Ever since I
Mhm.
was a small child, I didn't know how I felt. And here's the thing, okay? When you are a child, you have crushes on people who are older than you. Okay, that's cool.
You do.
That's fine. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Ma'am, the feelings that you had for him should have dead when your sister died.
Right. I'm like, you're talking about pre-murder feelings.
Right. he has now murdered your sister. Okay, sweetie. And I know you're in this bunker and there's not a lot of guys in there. So you feel like
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, there ain't no, and she like, ain't no other options. But when I tell you, I would have hemmed up with one of them security guards.
here's the thing. I
That's
don't
all I'm saying.
listen. There's 45 families in there. Okay.
Hmm.
Your family makes one, Max's family makes two. There are 43 other families plus staff. There is
Hmm.
no reason for you to be going crazy and super horny for the man that
That
murdered your
murdered your
sister.
sister. Now, I will say this, of the other 40, of the 43 families, though, I'm like, I don't see nobody else their age. I really don't. But there's some staff members that are cute,
There are. There are. You,
that are her age.
but also, it's only been a couple days.
That's true.
It's only been, it's like at this point they have not even been in this bunker a week. And she is super horny, gaga crazy for the man that murdered her sister.
Her sister.
And that lets you know that she also is a terrible person. I don't care how much fake sympathy, thoughts, and prayers that you are sending to people on the outside. I don't believe it. I am sorry. For you to get there in that short time where he's talking to you, but you can't even hear what he's saying because you're listening to his breath and the beat of his heart. I'm like, come on now. Like, let's be real. The way she was acting, I'm like, did you hate your sister?
Right. Because it seemed like you loved her. And you know your sister. The only person I think really was in love at some point was the sister. Annie definitely loved Max. I don't know if Max is capable of love, but I think Annie did love Max.
I think that Max loved Annie in a very superficial way, but I don't know that he even knew it was superficial because he's never seen love. I think that he really did think that he loved her, but I do think that his love was very surface level, and that's why he has no remorse for killing her.
Hmm.
So these are the group of people that we're supposed to have sympathy for. Now, mind you, as a whole, they are treating the staff like dogs. And here's the thing, yes, they're staff, but the way they also treating them like servants, which is different. Like they're using them to like get their anger out. They're using them for like sexual pleasure. Like Frida is in there just she is wilding out. Okay, she is. She really is. Like I'm like Frida, you done slept with like 3 people. Once again, they've only been in this bunker for a few
Oh, really?
days. You're gonna get like you're gonna have
And the security guard though, I'm like, it was because he was down.
he was down. Here's the thing, Frida keep her body tight, okay?
No, that's the thing. When you talk about how like she just flowed through the bunker, like I was like, but I mean, now I will say this: that chick earned that because that body is bodying. Okay, it is all put
No,
together.
no, no, no. Frida keep her body tight. She does not play. She play basketball. She do her yoga. Like
She got to do Pilates. That looked like a body that do Pilates.
Frida is nothing to play with. But at the
Nothing.
same time, I'm like, ma'am, it's been a few days. You just slept with 3 people. You gonna get like bunker shingles or something. Like
Not bunker shit goes. What's wrong with you?
you better like slow
I
down.
was like, I don't know. And maybe it's because of how much I detest Guillermo. And not that I think Frida is right. Frida is a hot mess. But when she slept with that security guard intentionally so that Guillermo would see it, I was kind of cheering her on. I ain't gonna
Was
lie.
too. I was too because this is the thing. Frida laid it on the line with Guillermo. She said, "Listen, okay, I've left my husband, and your wife is leaving you. This is a time we've been doing this dance for 30 years. This is a time for us to have a genuine, open relationship. You love me, I love you. Let's do this for real." And he's
Hmm.
like, "Oh, look, I gotta go." And she's like, "Okay, okay. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this one more time, okay? Y- You can either love me out loud or
Hmm.
you can go move around." And he
Hmm.
was playing, and she said, "Well, let me show you what it looks like to play."
Immediately.
You,
Immediately. I feel like she walked upstairs and then screwed the hell out that security guard.
and here's the thing, and that's the thing of it was the way you when in the security office, there's no privacy. Like this is like the window shades open. They are fully naked, and the sex is like graphically like it's not regular. Like they are like he's choking her, and she's like
They are getting it in.
the way that it was. I've never. She made a statement. She
She
said,
really did.
"This could be you, but you playing game." She said it's not even hard to find somebody to take your place.
It was, yes, it was the way that that's the first time I respected her in that moment, just in that moment. Cause I was like, and she is all pressed up against the window intentionally because I want you to see it.
She does. And then after that, though, when she has him in the closet and she's like, listen, you were the Dom for years. We're flipping the script. I am
Mhm.
the Dom now. You are my sub. Bark like you want it.
She really did. She really did. When she had butted that fool, I was like, girl.
Well, honestly, Frida should join Minerva's team. I know she's a billionaire. And I know she's in the wrong and she's an enemy, but honestly, she has the energy of someone on Frida's team.
But she still has that entitlement of the rich, so it's not gonna work.
It's not, but I wish that she could. I like her
But
energy.
I would love a spin-off show of Frida and her mama just terrorizing everything.
They are monsters, okay? And together,
But I like them better when they get along.
but
When they
they're
get along and
one,
they can be
like
monsters together,
when they yes, but they are like their powers combine like Captain Planet, like and they
and
become
they make each
greater
other worse.
evil.
They make each other worse, but in an entertaining way.
Yes, absolutely yes.
That's why I want to see Victoria and Frida terrorize Italy. You know what I mean? Like I just want them to, I don't care. Let them go somewhere else and just terrorize and tear up that town.
So, okay, so let's talk about how the things that happen that where with Minerva's plans that go
Okay.
awry. Okay.
Okay.
So the first score that Minerva decides to make is she decides that she wants to convince Guillermo's business partner to buy a company that she owns so they can make money off of it. And so they're in order to do that, they're using her brother's very sophisticated AI. The AI is helping to run the bunker, but the AI like has been like recording everybody, learning about everybody so they can essentially like deep fake impersonate people.
Mhm. Yeah. The AI's name is Roxanne.
Yes.
Hmm.
And so it's bumpy, but they actually are like moving along and figuring it out. They've convinced Oswaldo that Guillermo's in the Philippines and like it's hard for him to get, you know, signal, and they're sporadically talking to Oswaldo. They plant the seed and get him to go to Bangkok. And while he's in Bangkok, like they pull out like this super elaborate plan, like to essentially keep him entertained and up and no sleep so that he can't really fully think straight. And I'm going to be honest,
Microdose him.
right, with ecstasy, I think
Hmm.
when I was telling this plan, I'm like at the table thinking like, are you sure this is
Seems overly
necessary?
complicated. Yeah.
It did feel overly complicated. I'm like, is this really necessary? But Minerva, I'll say it. Minerva is a genius.
Because when you see it play out, you like, oh damn, it was necessary.
It really was necessary because the only reason why Oswaldo started to figure out that things were awry is after the deal had been done. He was literally on his private jet leaving, and he passed a billboard, and on the billboard was one of the actors that they used.
Mm.
And just from seeing that billboard, he started to run everything through in his mind and realize, okay, hold on, something's not right. So now I'm
Hmm.
realizing that if he did not have all of those distractions that Minerva had set up, it would not have worked.
No, because Oswaldo is sharp. He's very sharp, and that's what I'm like. That's what like her knowing him and knowing them the details, know like exactly what would have distracted him and how far to go. I'm like, yeah, she is a freaking genius because Oswaldo is sharper than you think. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
That was some of my favorite part of the show, honestly.
Me too.
That
Yeah,
I so enjoyed watching them like set him up and to see all the different things that they did. And then as it was like crashing and everything, I'm like, oh my God,
having to fix it at the last minute and pivot,
yes. It was so
girl.
enjoyable.
Okay, and it fell apart too because like they were about to send the transfer, and Max had just pulled the plug on Roxanne, and
Mhm.
so then he saw so it started well that started to crack. You know what I mean? When I tell you, I was so angry with Max. To what end? To what end? You're just in here messing up stuff. This is a beautifully crafted plan, and you're just messing up stuff for the sake of messing. I was so angry with him. I was hot.
That is how I knew I definitely firmly was not on the side of the billionaires because every time Max interrupted the scheme, I'm like, we're working over here. We have an active operation going on.
We got stuff to do. It's so many irons in the fire for us to pull this off. You know?
Yes. Yes, Max was definitely an annoyance. And so the I was so hurt, like because Oswaldo figured out everything and he went back to Bangkok and he was like investigating and he figured it out. They actually ended up killing him. Now, the way that
I
they
was really
killed him, it was kind of cool. Um, is
I
it
was.
terrible to say it?
No, because when that joker snapped his neck, I was like, whew,
It was
thank
the
goodness. Ronnie's about to mess this
combination
up.
though.
The
So
running, the
yes,
girl
Vic,
and that girl running. Cinematically, that girl running down there chasing him and him like it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I was like, whew, girl, I thought we was caught. Handled
in
that
that
situation.
scene, you see like the girl who was like his kind of contact who he spent the most time with in Bangkok. You see her full speed running through the market, and it's almost like a Terminator run, and you don't know exactly why she's you understand that she's trying to get to Oswaldo, but you don't
Mhm.
know what's going to happen when she gets
Once she
there.
gets there,
You say she's like full speed running, and when
that
she
was a
gets to
beautiful thing.
him, she literally just pushes him and keeps going. And at that moment, like her partner snaps his neck so smoothly.
So
And
smooth. Can I tell you that joke is fine? Can I? I was like, oh, dang.
he's like, somebody help, help. And he does it so smoothly. Like it looks
And
like
then slides away. That whole thing. First of all, he's just fine. Cause like even when he was like a competition, he's supposed to be one of the competitors for the buying this company. And I'm looking at him in the office and I'm like, dang. And then when he comes in and snaps it, I know okay, something wrong with me. But like when he comes in, he snapped the man's neck so smoothly and then slides off. I was like,
But yeah, I was sad because I did like Oswaldo as a character, and Oswaldo is actually a good friend to Guillermo.
so, okay, I guess I didn't feel sad at all for Oswaldo because to me, I guess I saw him as part of that billionaire. Like, even though I know he doesn't have as much money, like essentially he works for Guillermo, but I'm like, but you one of them. You still one of them that keeps all this mess going. So I did not feel anything.
Yeah, and you know what? I think why I felt bad is because like they had spent the day before, like, and he thought that he had like he met May, and he thought he had like this genuine connection. He was like so like into her, and it was, and when you see it all crash, and he realized I've been duped, and all those feelings and emotions I had were like fake. I did feel bad. And because I really feel like he is a good friend to Guillermo, and I know Guillermo is not that good of a friend to him, because I don't think Guillermo is capable of being a good friend to anybody.
He's not, but he's a good friend in the way that he keeps his whole billionaire evil empire going. That's why I think I don't feel anything for him, and I don't feel like he's a good person. You know what I mean? Like, like he's a good friend to Guillermo. He is bad for the world.
Essentially, he is bad for the world. So I'm like, you know what? If nothing else happens, they've made $850 million. No, 900 million.
100 because he got him to raise it up to 900.
Yes.
I was like, okay, get
So
it.
I was like, okay, we coming out of here with
For
something.
me, we know what side I'm on, and it's not the billionaires.
Right. And so the reason why Max is going in and he's shorting out Roxanne, which is the AI, is because Mimi is, after like a day or two being in the bunker, Mimi is starting to get sick. And we realize that she's like going into like kidney failure and she needs dialysis, and they don't have a dialysis machine.
I have a question there because I could not figure that out. Because I'm like, what? How did she get that sick that quick? Like, was she poisoned? Did I miss something there?
I also don't know how she got sick that quick. And I also asked myself
She's
that
a
same
pussy.
question because she was
She's a
like,
pussy.
oh, I don't feel well. I'm constipated. And I was like, girl, you want sick?
Well, and that's the thing, because like she kept saying I'm constipated now, and now going back, I'm like, yeah, she was saying she was constipated from the beginning, so she something was brewing with her from the beginning. But I just chalk that up to how, like when you go on vacation, you go somewhere new, and for the first few days, that's why I was like, oh girl, you just been bunking for a few days. You gonna be all right once you get
Right.
used
Eat
to
some
it.
fruit. You'll be fine.
Mhm. I just gotta get used to that bunker food and you'll be fine. I was like, for her to get that sick, I was like, oh, hold on, no, she's sick, sick. And that's why I'm like, did somebody poison her? I still don't know.
I mean, if it was somebody, it was Frida.
No, you know what? I think it's Guillermo. Because like the reason it's either Frida or Guillermo. And the reason why I say that is because Guillermo also, like, I think when Frida called him out about him being upset about his marriage being over, she was dead right. He's upset because his ego got hurt. You know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing. It's that kind of thing. So I can see that kind of level of man. When you leave him, he kills you. Yeah, I can see that.
But I honestly don't feel like Guillermo would poison her. I feel like he would definitely kill her, but he wouldn't poison her. I don't feel like
You would strangle her.
I don't
Poison,
think he's
yeah,
that kind of man.
I don't know. My money's still on Frida or Guillermo, but my first thought was Guillermo. This is a little pride
When
hurt.
she was sick and she was getting sicker and sicker, I thought it was going to be something like appendicitis, something that kind of comes on quickly. But they're like, oh yeah, like her kidneys failing, her liver is doing. I'm like, wait a minute now, like
It, which is
what's going on?
why I thought poison, because so many of her organs are shutting down at one time. All of a sudden, for someone who is seemingly healthy.
So at this point, the doctor is dead. So Minerva originally had a doctor on her team, and the doctor was her girlfriend who seemed head over heels in love with Minerva. But
Mhm.
almost immediately, once they get into this bunker, although she knew about the plan from the beginning, she was part of the development. Almost immediately, as soon as they get into the bunker, she starts having second thoughts.
Yeah,
And I was irritated by that.
it was too. And can I tell you, I'm like, I knew somebody was gonna kill her. Um, I did not know. I don't think I realized Minerva and Zero were brother and sister then. But like, but I knew somebody was gonna come in and kill her really quickly. And I was like, I was kind of relieved too, because I was like, again, you fucking up the plan. There's a plan. You knew about the plan. You're part of the plan from the beginning.
From
So
the
I feel like she
beginning.
was going along with it because of her love for Minerva, but then when she got into it, her morals were conflicting. And I was like, we ain't got time to play with you right now.
Right.
Too much is going into this. Ain't nobody got time to play with you right now.
Now, mind you, this plan was years in the making. Okay. Years. They planned this for years. So for years, you sat and went to all of the meetings. You
Hmm.
participated in training the AI.
Hmm.
You're right there every step of the way, also knowing that you are the doctor. So you are
Hmm.
a very integral part of keeping the people safe in the bunker.
Hmm.
And to almost immediately like tap out, I was so mad.
I was annoyed.
I was so mad because she's like, I'm leaving, I'm leaving, I'm leaving. What do you think is going to happen to the people in the bunker? You're the only doctor.
Exactly. And how they
Now,
go where they gone?
she doesn't end up
It was
getting
annoying.
killed, but she was going to leave anyway.
Hmm.
But also the way that she talks about how much she loved Minerva and she was so obsessed with her, you should turn your back pretty quick. That annoyed me. That when I tell you that, but also I'm like, Minerva was wrong for only having one medical professional in the group.
It was. Yeah, there should have been multiple medical professionals and not just a doctor, like one doctor for all these people, a doctor and a few nurses. Yeah.
Right. It was like everybody else know first aid.
Right. And I felt so bad for this chick. I'm like, everybody's like, what's wrong? Diagnose it. She's like, I just took a first aid course. Like, you don't need to back up off me. And so now you essentially have a fourth year medical student basically acting as the doctor.
Right. And I think that's supposed to make us feel better about Asia, but it doesn't. Um, it still doesn't. It still doesn't. And so, yeah, I think that that was definitely a hole in Minerva's plan, but also because Minerva really only plans for them to be in the bunker for 3 weeks. I think that's why
Yeah,
there's not a dialysis machine. Because if it was like, if you think about it logically, like this bunker is supposed to sustain them for 10 years in the case of like a real emergency, you would have a dialysis machine.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And so immediately the fact that there's not a dialysis machine, I feel like the billionaire should have been like, wait a minute, why wouldn't there be a dialysis machine if we're supposed to be in here for 10 years and start asking questions?
hmm
But they didn't. But yeah. And so Max is thinking, oh, you know what? Mimi is going to die without this dialysis machine. So I need to find a way to get out of the bunker. Now, mind you, at this point in time, the billionaires believe that outside is radioactive. But Max
Right. So your plan don't make sense.
is still thinking that he's going to be able to leave the bunker, go get a dialysis machine, bring it back to the bunker through the radiation. None of that makes sense.
None of it.
More than likely, if the hospital is not even still standing, there's going to be like chaos, dead body. Like if what they were told was true, his
Right.
plan never made sense. I'm going to tell you that Max did not like not being in control,
hmm
and that is why he wanted to leave the bunker. It had nothing really. Saving Mimi had nothing to do with it, and Mimi actually ends up dying before he even leaves because Victoria, after she got what she wanted from Mimi, pumped her up full with morphine patches and ended up killing her.
hmm
Which I thought was weird that she would even sleep with that woman when the woman is having failure. But I'm like, Victoria's like, I got cancer. What does it matter? We can still do this.
Victoria want what she wants. She don't care.
So Max knows that Mimi is dead, and he still goes to venture outside because Max does not want to be in. Max wants to be in control.
He doesn't want to be in the bunker anymore, and that's it. Like, you know what I mean? It feels like prison, which it does. I guess, definitely it definitely, I can see how it felt like prison. But like, sir, this is not about Mimi, and it never was. And the fact that you found out she died and you decide to take your behind out there anyway when you think there's a nuclear, war or whatever going on out there, something, yeah, whatever.
Can I tell you this? If the bunker were real, if there was really a nuclear disaster, Max would have acted the same way.
He would have acted the same way, and you would have had to kill him.
Right.
Like, he would have absolutely acted the same way, and for everybody else's safety, you would have had to kill him.
Yes. And because like
You
there
can't have people like that. He gonna kill everybody opening that freaking door.
Yes. So there are things that Minerva does in order to like get the information that she needs to keep control of the bunker. But at the same time, even if the situation was real, I feel like she would still need to do those same things. Be-
I do too.
when you have
I
a group of people that elite, okay, who are used to getting their way, it is
can do
very
whatever they want
easy
to.
for things to delve into chaos. And I think that she needed to be watching them, listening to them, and knowing what's going on.
I actually do agree. Like, in that situation, like, all her techniques they would have been exactly the same if the bunker had been real. But the only thing is, like, you would have had to deal with Max earlier, because like at this point, when Max is trying to leave the bunker, he has assaulted at least two people.
Yes. He almost
One he
killed the
almost
security
killed.
guy. Yeah.
He almost killed one of the security guards. Assaulted and got into a fight with another. He's stolen a taser, and they don't know this, but he's also punched a hole in Roxanne
Mhm.
and shut Roxanne down. Max need to go.
Him and Asia are
At the very
building
least,
bombs in the bunker.
put him in the little bunker prison.
Kill him. Can we be honest? He shouldn't have qualified to go inside the bunker. He was in prison. He should have never even qualified to go into the bunker.
He shouldn't, but like, you're dealing with billionaires.
Right.
And would they pay like 50 million per person to go in there?
I think so.
So it's like, hey, it's another 50 million.
Right. So this is what's interesting. Like, yes, the bunker is not real. That all of these things are manufactured. But the billionaires do not know this, and they are
They think it's real.
behaving horribly.
Oh my goodness. Like I can't and yeah. I cannot even imagine like having to deal with them for real in a real crisis. Cause like y'all priorities are not nobody else's priorities. You want to be served your dinner where you can get up and go make your own plate because you want to keep this feeling of a servant class and an upper class
Yes.
when
Yeah,
you're at the end of the world.
absolutely. Which is like
But
makes me
you want to talk about somebody else? Like she also technically, if this were real, should not have qualified because you got cancer. Somebody else, you know what I mean? Like you finna go anyway.
right. Are you really gonna even last the 10 years?
They gave her 6 months to live, and I think they said she had lived 11. So okay, we're at the end of the world in their mind. Why would you put her in there?
Because she can afford it?
Yeah, and that's it.
And it's just it. And it's just it. And the funny thing is, instead of like, okay, figuring out how we can live cooperatively so that we can last, like you said, their biggest thing is making sure that they keep that societal like position and that they feel it. Because someone was saying, okay, you know what, if we can live 10 years with the provisions that we have, what's stopping the billionaires from killing half of the people so that they can live 20?
Right. And that's exactly how they would think.
It's so interesting because like one, the show was I love a show that's different.
Hmm.
I love a
It was good.
show, you know, I love a show that's different, and I this is something that I hadn't seen in this way. But I love that there's two worlds. Like there's the world where we know this is a scam, and so we're
Hmm.
looking at it from the fact that it's a scam and all of the things that they're doing to keep the scam going, how they're trying to benefit for it, how Minerva's doing everything she can to keep this plan together. But then there's also this world where the billionaires don't know that it's a scam, and you're seeing how they're acting and how they're behaving. And if this
Hmm.
was real, I would hate to be trapped with these people.
My goodness.
Honestly feel like if you did this in real life, the first thing that you would have to do is once you got the billionaires into the bunker is to kill them. You've already gotten everything you've needed from them. Kill them and move on because these are not the people you want to be with at the end of the world.
No.
Like they're not trying to figure out, okay, like yes, we've invested in the system to create it. What can we do to help keep the system working, to keep the system going, to perpetuate the system to make things better? They are
Right.
actively going around flouting every rule, like stumping their feet and throwing tantrums when they don't get what they want. They're being so mean and rude and nasty and deceptive and to each other. It's man. I think I would just say I'll stay out the bunker. I don't think I even want to go in the bunker.
Be in my room because I can't deal with y'all. I
I'm
cannot
going in
deal
the
with y'all.
bunker. No, I'm getting in the bunker.
I'm you know what I mean. Like, but like I'm not about to socialize with y'all. Y'all are too annoying.
So that was season one. Of course, this show is fairly new, so we don't know if it's going to get renewed.
So
And the season ends with Max about to take a step outside. And I wish that when the Max fully opens the door, that girl that does the full speed run runs. So what do you think that they could do with season two? Like what would you like to see?
oh my God. Okay, so I don't even know where to go from here. I do want to know what happens to Max, and I had that same feeling like, okay, I'm waiting for somebody to come up behind him and snap his neck, or push him off the cliff or something like that. But what I don't even know. I want to see Minerva win. That's what I want.
I
I
do.
want her to get billionaires. Maybe we can be introduced to some other families that are in there. There's some other interesting dynamics that we didn't get to see. But what I want is for Minerva and her team to win and take all these jokers' money. And then I want to see them when they realize that she did it.
Right. So this is my idea of what they should do. If Max does open the door, I really hope that they've staged the outside so that
Hmm.
it looks because it's an underground park. that the bunker is in. I hope that they've staged the outside so it really does look crazy terrible,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe someone pulls Max in after he looks outside and sees, oh man, it's really messed up. And they pull him back in, they close the bunker, and they do a pretend contamination with him and everything. And then Max comes back in like, oh shoot, I'm really like really in this bunker and things are, and
Yeah.
so then they can like hopefully do another scam, like scam somebody else, and then maybe like Asia gets a clue where she thinks, oh wait a minute, this is not real, but Max is like trying to convince her because he saw a little something, and Asia has to think with her own mind. Like I want to let's keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's keep it going. I need more scams, more billionaires buying these fake companies, all that stuff.
Yeah, I want to see how they tricked Victoria out of her money. I want to see them. I want to see them trick as many people as possible. And I wish they had like a little meter on the side where every time they get money
So I
from
can
the
see where they get
billionaires,
money. Yeah,
we can see how much money we've made. Because I'm Team Minerva.
Minerva too.
Yes. So this show, I loved it.
Me
I
too.
loved
It was
it.
good.
I'm hoping that it comes back for season 2. Oh, I don't know if you've heard the news. One of our favorites is coming back for season 2.
Supercell.
Supercell is one, but that's not the one I was
Okay.
thinking of.
What do you think about?
Nobody wants this.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
It should be coming out soon. Once I have the date, I'll send it to you. So, very exciting. I love it when a show that we loved and we were excited about gets renewed, because so often there's brilliant media and they don't get their chance. So, I'm really, really excited. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you check out Billionaire Bunker. If you do, leave a message in the comments and let us know who you're rooting for. Are you
Yes.
team Minerva? Are you team Billionaires? Like, do you agree with us? Like, or do you think that billionaires can be victims? Let us know.
I'm ready for the next episode. Can't wait to get home and turn my TV on. I'm ready for the next episode. Got my snatch shoes off, no remote control. I'm ready for the next episode.